I'm Barbara and welcome to another tutorial video from Sussex Photo Edits. This is using Photoshop or Photoshop Elements to merge images, cut images out of one photo and paste them into a second photo to make a different image in the end. This is a lot of fun. People always want to learn how to do it. You can make funny photographs. You can put people in a better pose or people that were missing from a group photo into the group. All kinds of things you can do with it. So I'm going to show you the basics of how to get it done. These techniques will work with any version of Photoshop Elements or Photoshop. It's just basic stuff that you'll want to know. On top I've got the image that I'm going to cut out. I'm going to cut these hippies out of this photo and paste them into this landscape. Couple different ways I can do this. I'm not going to duplicate my layer. You can. It's not necessary, so I'm not doing it today. I do need to pick out a way to select them. This tool here selects within either the round, or if you right click it'll do a square area. That's no good. They're not round or square. This magic wand selects little pieces at a time of colors or textures. So that doesn't work very well for selecting a large busy area. Up here we have the magnetic lasso tool. I like to use it on small precise areas, maybe teeth or eyes when working in a photo, but not for an entire human person. That's a lot of clicking to keep it adhered to the edges. And so the last one I have is the quick selection tool, and that's the one I'm going to use today. I also, underneath the eraser, there's a background eraser tool, and I could use this one, and I'll show you it does work pretty well. As I bring the mouse over here after clicking the background eraser, it's about the right size. Everything within that crosshair that is everything within the circle that is the color that the crosshair is sitting on will disappear. And as I move it around, you see I can get very quickly the background out, but it will sometimes go a little too far, and it just took a big chunk of arm and hand in kind of a fuzzy way, so then you have to hit undo and fiddle around. So I'm not using that one today. I am going to use the quick selection tool, and I bring my mouse over. I'm going to choose add to selection. This is new selection. I want add because I'm going to choose several times where to add, where to select. You click and go over and click and go over a little more and select your area that way. There's still going to be cleanup work with this method as well. But basically it goes pretty fast. Here in the middle, I might want to make my brush larger by hitting the bracket key. The right bracket key will make it much bigger and makes this task much faster, because it wants to adhere to each one of those little flowers and stuff. We'll be here all day. And smaller still when we get to the hands. I'm making sure that I've got everything in the marching ants, that black and white moving area that I want to keep. I know I've got more than what I want, but I want to make sure I don't have less than what I want. If I chose to delete right now, it would delete everything in here. I want to delete everything out of there, so I'm going to go to select, inverse, and then all of a sudden it's marching around the outside of these ladies. And I come to this background layer, and now I'm going to make a duplicate layer by clicking and dragging down to this icon and letting go, because it won't delete on a blocked layer. It won't change that background layer. So I need a new background layer up, and I hit the delete key on the keyboard, And you can see something happened on the thumbnail, but you can't see anything happened over here until you turn that eyeball off, and now you can see what's gone. And now you can continue to delete some more. With some of those distractions gone, it makes it a little easier. Went a little too far that time. And again, I think I'll leave that hand for the eraser. I could make a brush smaller, make the image larger. Let's get rid of this lady's head. And make the brush very small. Go in here and hit the delete key. If you go to the minus, you can drag it back out. There we go. Okay. I'm going to use the eraser to clean up what's remaining. So select, deselect. Now the marching ants are all gone. I'll make this image larger so that it's easier to see what I'm erasing. And start in the upper right, go to the eraser, right click and put it back on the eraser. And just drag that around to get rid of what I don't want. The bracket keys will make my eraser larger or smaller as well. It works on all of the brushes that way. You might take a long time to get yours looking very nice and perfect. I'm not going to worry so much about the imperfections in this today because I'm just showing you the technique. Now you know how to do that. So now we're going to go to our background image, and we're going to get that up by clicking on it 2 times, double click, and there it is with a background layer. Sometimes it doesn't do that. You have to make your background layer. Take your hippies, click on it 1 time, drag it up, drop it, and it is in there. We're going to choose our move tool. When I hit that, a box comes around the image of these hippies, which are on their own layer, so that I can enlarge them without touching the bottom image. And I can make them as big as I like and hit OK, and take a look at how they look by hitting any tool over here and the box disappears. And I'm satisfied. A lot of times when you're moving images into other images, the dimensions of the photos are so different that you have to do some resizing. Usually making them too much bigger is going to really mess with them, but you can make an image smaller if you like. If I wanted to make this background layer smaller, I would click on it to activate it. Go to Image, Resize, Image Size, and I could divide those numbers by 2 and put in the new values, and then the image would be half as big and there wouldn't be such a difference in the photographs. But since I already had the hippie layers on here, then I would have to throw that out and drag them back up. So I'm just going to try and make these ladies look like they belong on this layer because they're obviously cut and pasted. So I'll go back to their layer and click on it to activate it and work on them by going to the Enhance tab. I'm going to choose Adjust Lighting, Brightness Contrast, and it was a little too bright in their day, so I'm taking it down. It was a dark morning when the tree was captured, and take the contrast down some as well. They look a little better. Also, this is a nice foggy morning, so everything was a little blurred. So I'm going to add a filter to this one layer by choosing Filter, Blur, and I'm going to choose Blur More. And suddenly they're not so stark. Um, I could even blur it again, Blur More. They look a little bit more like they belong. Also, whenever you cut and paste, a nice thing to do is come to this drop of water, which is a blur tool. Choose it. You may want to enlarge your image so you can see the edges. But take this blur tool and go around the edges. And then it kind of melts into the background and doesn't look so obviously cut and pasted on top. And I could certainly spend some time doing that, but this is how you do it. These are the techniques. Go ahead and play with it and make it your own. Have a lot of fun with it. The last thing you need to do when you're finished is choose how to save your file. Save as. If you're going to upload it to the internet or email it to somebody, you would want to save it in a JPEG file. If you thought maybe you were going to work on it again another day, maybe add more stuff to your photo, you could save it in the PSD format, and that saves the layers. If you save it in the JPEG, the layers all go away. Usually when you choose Save As, it comes up with a different name than the original. See, this has edited to PSD on it. You want to make sure though that you are saving it to a different name than your original so you don't lose your originals. And go ahead and save and you're done. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Visit me at Shutterfly. I have a site on Shutterfly, Sussex Photo Edits, and you can see more of my edits and you can upload some of your own. Or visit me on Blogger.com. I have a blog on Blogger.com that's also called Sussex Photo Edits. I have a lot of links on there to things from all over the internet concerning photo edits, so you might find some good stuff. And I'll see you next time.